Hello, welcome in. Find a seat in the front row. You're not going to want to miss this. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? How are you? So I said, find a seat in the front row because you're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty intense. But we shall see. We shall see. So we are doing a past life regression. We have Dr. Ebeling who will be here at 7. We're going to do a co-host where she's going to come in and she is going to do a past life regression on me, which ought to be pretty interesting. So I'm super excited. I want to see how this goes, and I'm open to whatever. So we'll see. So get a front row seat, sit back, relax, and she should be here in a couple of minutes, and we're going to start at 7, I think. I'm not real sure. We'll see what happens when she gets here. So, is anybody that's in here now familiar with Dr. Ebeling at all? Does anybody know who she is? She's amazing. Amazing. I usually go live during the day. I'm usually live at 11 a.m. East Coast time during the day. I am an energy worker. I work with Universal White Light Energy. I'm a Reiki Master Teacher and a certified spiritual coach. So I'm excited to see what comes up in this past life regression. I'm very curious to see what I had going on before I incarnated back here on Earth to do the mission that I'm doing now. So it should be pretty cool. So welcome in, welcome in. If you have any questions, just ask away. I'll try and answer them until she gets here. Has anybody ever had a past life regression done? Anybody at all? I had one done years and years and years ago. Actually, it wasn't a past life, it was Akashic Records, which I think is kind of the same thing. Dawn, I just saw you popping in. Hey, Melissa, good to see you too. I just saw Paulie popping in. Hey, guys. Can I click on your name and invite? I can. Let me see. Click on your name. Click on your name. Manage. Hold on. Hold on. No, I think I do it this way. Hold on. I think you have to be live. I think you have to be live, Kia. I can't get you. Co-host. Try that one. Okay, hold on. Go live together. No, add up to 3 guests. Go live together. No guest request. New request will appear here. So it said you have to ask, you have to request it. Oh, there you are. I got you. And here she comes.
Maybe.
I hear you.
I don't know what's going on because I can see you, but I can't see me.
Yeah, I can't see you either.
Uh,
Let me try something. Nope, you're there. Live together. You're there. We could try it the other way if you want, where you don't see me and we just see you. I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
How do you have your phone right now?
How do I have my phone? It's on a tripod in front of me.
Okay, so you're not actually holding it?
No, look, watch. As soon as I let go, it's right there.
Okay, good. Good, because that's
Yeah.
usually the problem is when we do a Zoom call, people have to put their laptop on their chest or their phone on their chest. So I'm glad you have a tripod.
Because
Let me
they
let me
don't know
figure
how
this
to
out.
do it.
What's that?
I said they don't know how to do it.
Because they're not
That's what you
you.
have pillows for. I put it's a smaller tripod, but I put it up and I prop it up with pillows. Hey Jackie, I see you. This type of stuff is your jam. Awesome. Hey, hey.
Uh, I have these gifts on my screen. I can't even. We should have practiced first, huh?
Well, we still have a couple minutes. No worries.
Okay. Okay.
We still have a couple minutes. I don't want to hear my voice. Um, I don't know.
Aha.
Did you find? There she is.
I'm all up in the camera. Sorry, guys.
Me too. Look, if I do like this, I'm all up in the camera. So, here we are.
We are
Do I look comfortable? I'm all comfy in my bed.
more comfortable than me.
I was thinking about when we talked about doing this at first, I had this vision that it would be you doing a past life regression on someone in the, like picking someone out of the live. And at the same time, me using the Hoshaze Shonen master. Well, it's not a master, it's a transcending time and space symbol through Reiki. So it would be me transferring that energy at the same time you're doing the past life regression, because what it does is it helps clear out anything that no longer serves the person or brings up things that they have to start to deal with. So when I'm doing the distant Reiki, those are the symbols that I use. So what I decided to do once we flipped the script is I'm doing it with myself. So I did the meditation myself just before I got on here. I called in the power symbol and the master symbol and the Hosha Zen Shonen. So I'm ready to rock and roll. But I want to hear about what it is that you do, if that's okay, because I'm not real sure.
Sure. You mentioned doing an Akashic Records reading years ago, and it is similar because that's where all your past lifetimes are stored, or in the Akashic Record. And there's just a different avenue on how to get there. And that's basically all that needs to happen, is for you to relax and the brain waves to slow down to the alpha and theta brainwave state, which is basically meditation or like a daydream. If you've ever zoned off while you're driving the car, that is a hypnagogic state. And we all do it all the time without even realizing it. Sorry, it's chilly here, so I'm wrapped up. But it was snowing today here. Crazy.
Stop
But
it.
yeah, I got a sunburn over the weekend because it was so nice here in Colorado. But uh, yeah, today was flurries off and on, and so yeah, I don't have my fireplace on to warm me because it's so loud. I don't want it to mess up the live, so I'm
That
just
was
wrapped up.
one of the things that I loved about Colorado was you could get up in the morning and you never knew what the weather was going to be. It could change, go 5 minutes or wait 5 minutes or go 5 miles. You never knew what it was going to be. So that's one of the things I actually loved about Colorado. I miss it so much. All right. So, all right, what do you want to do? You want to get started? Do you want to start right away? Do you want to keep talking? I think people are excited. I know a lot of people are very curious as to what it is that we're going to do. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah,
Like I said, I am pretty sure that this is going to be pretty intense. I already feel that. I feel that energy. It's a very calm energy. Like I'm not
yeah.
anxious or anything like that. It's just very like this is very cool. Like I definitely want to do this. So my question is though, light on or light off
It's up
for
to
me?
you, but for the sake of people watching, because they'll be watching your mannerisms too, because this is what I see as well. So if I if I see you having a little bit of discomfort describing something, or like last week I had someone just jerk in the bed in the lounger that I have here because they were getting hit by their spouse, and they were
Oh,
experiencing it like it was actually happening. And I don't want you to have to go through that. So I want to be able to watch you, unless turning, I don't know how bright it is there, but
yeah, it's not too bad.
um, okay. But if you want to, are you able to angle the camera down so I can actually see your mouth too? Or, yeah, There you go. Now everybody can see your mouth and your tongue. So, so you're live on my end too. So my viewers are probably wondering who the heck are you? So if you want to introduce yourself, and then I'll introduce myself and
Okay,
what we do, and that will be a great start. So
that
everybody knows
sounds
what's going to
good.
happen.
Sounds good. So, I am a Reiki master teacher. I'm a spiritual coach, a certified spiritual coach, just got certified. Um, and I do a lot of energy work. And as I've explained a lot of times in my lives, I did Reiki long before I even knew what Reiki was. I started working with energy probably about 15 years ago. And, I just kind of dabbled in it a little bit, didn't really understand what was going on. And I was sitting on the couch with my grandson, and we had our hands like this, and I felt that body heat. I felt that heat
Mhm.
coming from our hands, and as I moved my hands, I could actually feel that energy moving, and I was like, I want to know what this is. Like, what is this? What is this? And and that's when I jumped in that rabbit hole. And what I did was I back then they had these things called Meetup. And so I just typed in spiritual group. Am I
They
showing my
still
age?
have it, just so you
Do
know.
they
They still have it.
really? So I typed in spiritual group, and I found this woman, Rachel Vespucci, who was amazing. But I went to one of her circles, one of her meditation circles, and we were sitting in chairs, and she would walk behind us and put her hands over our head, and she said to one of the young guys there, you need to ground her. And I had no idea what any of that meant. And here's this young man kneeling before me, holding on to my ankles, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, it was just so bizarre to me. I was like, all right. But I immediately felt peace. I immediately felt calmness. So I knew there was
Wow.
something about this. So I worked with Rachel probably for about 5 years, just doing what we called Reiki shares or things like that. And she said to me, which was a very profound statement, when you're working with any sort of energy or you're working with any sort of healing modality, it's all around us, and you don't have to be taught. It's not something that you pick up a book and you learn. It's a knowing, and finding a spiritual guide or someone that can help you along that path to just kind of guide you where you need to go, and then you find the answers within yourself. And I've always said in the master energy class that I teach, I've touched very briefly on shadow work, but it's very important for us to know where we came from and remember who we are. This was the message that I got the other night, was remember who you are and make sure you tell others to remember who they are. And then here comes Kia saying, hey, let's do this, and I really want to do a past life regression on you. And I'm like, good Lord, if this is not remembering who I am, I don't know what is. So I find it absolutely fascinating how the universe works and how there's always divine timing going on when these things are starting. So I am super excited, and so that's what I do, and yeah, that's me.
So you mentioned taking a meeting up with Rachel. Was that in while you were in Colorado, or was it when you moved out to Virginia?
Oh no, I've only been in Virginia 4 years.
Okay.
I met Rachel probably 13 years ago.
Wow.
So I worked with Rachel for about 5 years. And then in 2015, I still had no idea what Reiki was. I just knew that I had energy pulsating through me. I knew that my hands got hot when I was around people. And I knew when I did these energy exchanges with these people that things were moving and I could feel it. I went to what they called an Om Fest. It was 3 hours from my home. I had no idea where I was going, why. I knew not didn't know one soul, but got in my car. This was when I lived in New Jersey, and went to Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And I went to this Om Fest, and I walked right up to the person who was facilitating it, and I said, how can I help? And she said, well, okay. She said, you can work the front gate. So I was meeting all these people as they were coming in, and this one woman walked in, and as I was putting the band on her wrist, it was immediately electrifying. Like I immediately felt something from her, and we locked eyes. I had no idea who she was, but so I'm working the gate. I needed a break. So I got somebody to cover, and I walked out into this field, and here's this woman, and she's touching people on the forehead and putting her hand on their chest, and these people are falling backwards. And I'm like, oh. So I looked at the lady next to me and I go, what's going on? She goes, I have no idea, but I'm scared. So she walked up to me, and again we locked eyes, and she said, I need you to sit down. And immediately in my ego brain, I'm thinking it's because I'm overweight and she doesn't want me to fall backwards and hurt myself. It's my ego talking. She told me later, she said, no, that is not why I did that at all. She said, I wanted you to sit down because I knew you were going to go quick. Um, so when she touched me, absolutely, I connected with God source energy, like connected immediately. The visions that I had been having for years were just all there. It was all alive. And I had a conversation that I was crying, and I said, I did not sign up for this. And God said, oh, yeah, you did. And you have a lot more work to do. So you better get back there and do it, you know?
Yeah.
But that was my indoctrination into this white light source energy that I've worked with now since 2015. And then I had the pleasure of working with Abdi Electrica, who's out of Costa Rica, who actually attuned Val to this gift. And I didn't work with, I went to 3 of his workshops, and really learned how to work with this gift. So when I tell people that the gift of energy is so much bigger than Reiki, that's what I'm talking about. The gifts that we have, they're limitless. And the way that we can harness them and use them to help other people is just magical if you can just believe and open up your mind to this. And it's amazing, and that's what I'm going to be doing in Virginia Beach. I'm going to be attuning people to this white light energy, so I'm
Awesome.
super excited. Super excited.
I'm excited too. So was that in Colorado then, or no?
Oh,
Did
no,
you live?
no. So this was
Okay.
all in New Jersey. I moved to
Okay.
Colorado in 2016.
Okay.
And then out in Colorado, I didn't really do any energy work out there other than having people come to my home. So people that I worked with, people, their friends, things like that. So it was, I had a little room set up in my house, and we did Reiki. I did Reiki at my house there. But again, it was just people that I worked with, friends of friends, that type of a thing. So it was a little bit of a business that I had going on out there. And I decided that I wanted to get the certification because, people at this point I understood what Reiki was. It was like I went in the rabbit hole, started doing some studying, and I decided that I was going to get the Reiki certification just so that when I had clients come to my home, I had this certificate on the wall that said, yeah, I do Reiki, even though what I do is much bigger than Reiki. And they all would feel that, and they were all like, what is going on, and that type of thing. But then just recently, when I moved here to Virginia, I was speaking with Jackie, and she said, you should really teach. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I'm certified in it. I'm like, you know what? I think you're right, So I started teaching, and it just blew up. Like it's like everybody wants to learn, and because they're waking up, that's what's happening. So it's amazing.
Yeah, that is the one good thing about COVID is that people are starting to see through the veil that I don't want to get controversial, but people are realizing and seeing the truth finally, and this has caused
Hmm.
the Great Awakening happening right now. Mine started years and years ago, but uh, it's made workers like you and I and others in this type of field. Um, well, we're ready now. It took us years to get to where we're at now, and now that the awakening is happening, or the Great Awakening is happening, businesses like us are getting more um, interest, and so that's why it's important to get this out here. I think this is a great idea to meet up on TikTok like this because I've done a TikTok where I've done past life regression live, and then I've done just a general past life regression. Then I uploaded my replays all to my YouTube channel. So if for some reason something happens, anyone that's following me, please follow Angels Do, and vice
And vice
versa, you know.
versa. Yeah.
So if something happens on our live, you can tap in on either one of our lives and still return and experience this. Otherwise, what I would like to do, with your permission, is to, once the replay is available, I would like to upload that to YouTube as well for people to experience. You know, watch you
Absolutely.
going through it and
Hmm.
seeing, you know, so they kind of know what to expect. Because a lot of people that come to me are first timers. I do have some repeat clients, but most of them are first timers, the ones that are waking up and realizing, oh my gosh, what else am I going to find out about myself? They've gone down the rabbit hole and they've watched a lot of Dolores Cannon's work and Brian Weiss and Dr. Michael Newton, all who have influenced my own work that I've been doing for the past 6 years. Um, Actually, hypnosis in general. I started. I'm a dreamer of the day. I love daydreaming. I love thinking, and so this really fits well with what I love to do. And um, but before I start going on that down that trail, are you okay?
Yeah,
Are,
no,
are,
I'm just readjusting. That's all. I'll do that until I get into the hypnotic state, until I'm connected. I'll be jittery and moving around, because it's just what I do. No biggie. I'm good.
okay. Well, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Dr. Cija Ebeling, and my practice is called E2 Mind Power, and I earned my PhD in holistic life counseling. And under that umbrella, what I do in that counseling practice is help souls going through their spiritual awakening and dark night of the soul to find their true purpose and become their greatest version. But under the umbrella of that, I also am a sound therapist and a clinical hypnotherapist, past life regressionist, and also an herbalist. So I do all kinds of things. And a lot of times I include all that into my sessions. Everybody gets a little bit of everything in my sessions. I do community sessions, I do sound bath events, and I do past life regression events in my community. And I've also traveled to do retreats in other states. I'm trying to get out there to Virginia Beach to your event. So I'm trying to manifest that happening. I would love to just show up. I know tomorrow's the cutoff. I tried to call Casey,
Okay.
and I've left voicemail, but I've not heard back from her. So I don't know what to do.
Don't
I don't
worry
mind
about
sharing
it.
a
You know what?
room.
Whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen. I've become um just that's just how it's going to go. Now I do know I hooked up with an old friend today, that we worked together a while ago. Every other Friday, one Friday I would work with her, the following Friday she would work with me, and it was an exchange of what we do. And she's out in Arizona, so we're going to do a retreat out in Arizona next summer. So, well, I'm not doing summer because it's too hot. We're going to probably do the spring, but we're planning it. So it's going to happen. So if you don't make the Virginia Beach, that's okay. We can do Arizona, and that's pretty close to you. That's a doable one for you.
I just got back from there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit a different scale of than what I'm doing. I mean, this is the first time I'm ever doing this. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just, you know what, I'm going to stay kind of close to home. I'm not going to charge a lot of money. I want to be near the water. So it was just, this is just a first timer thing. And then I know it's going to grow from here. I absolutely know it's going to grow from here. Um, so I appreciate you saying, and being here tonight, and being able to let others experience what it is that you do, because in both of our lines of work it is so so important to understand who you are and why you're here. So anybody that may be struggling on this awakening, energetically I can help them, but psychologically, and I'm talking on a mind level, that's where you would step in and say, okay, you know what, let's get into a hypnotic state and let's really dig in there and see what's going on. I'm super excited and curious, so let's go.
All right. So typically, when I do my sessions here in the office and I do Zoom sessions too, and what I usually tell my clients, especially the first timers that are like, I don't know if I could be hypnotized, I just ask them to think of it as a guided meditation because it's basically the same thing. I'm going to guide you into a relaxed state, and then we start touching on lives, memories in this life, and then regressing backwards. And what we're going to ask for is the most significant lifetimes to come forward. And I'll try to get as many as we can, and the in between
Mm-hmm.
lives as well, because there's a lot of good information that can come out of that as well. So what we're doing really in a past life regression is looking for patterns, because we tend to, well, we're creatures of habit. We love our comfort zones, and so we will keep repeating patterns of what we've done in previous lives. That's why we have passions and why we get excited about certain things in our life, such as, like if you, my, I like natural ways of healing. I'm not a fan of pharmaceuticals. And
Mm-hmm.
so I did my own past life regression, and I remembered doing this before. It came so naturally, and I was so connected to the plants and foraging and being out in the mountains, and just I'm a big fan of the wild lettuce because I have a lot of pain management clients that come in for clinical hypnotherapy. And so I want to offer them something else while they're going through the process of healing that pain. And so I create my own herbal pain salves with wild lettuce and corydalis, which is a nerve pain. It's
Oh,
Corydalis is a plant that grows in the Middle East, like in the Himalayas and the mountainous regions. And then wild lettuce grows everywhere. So, I mean, it
mm-hmm.
grows in your backyard. You've probably mowed over it a few times and not realized
Mm-hmm.
how how amazing that plant is. So I go out and I just forage it myself in my backyard or in the mountains. But Corydalis, because I don't live in the Himalayas, I do have to purchase that from a source, a trusted source. So then I infuse it into oils and I create salves out of it. And it's been it was just so easy for me because it's like I've done this before. It's so familiar. So what we're gonna find out is what lifetime patterns that you have lived, probably doing similar work as you're doing now, and they tend to get a little emotional too. So if we hit on a lifetime that seems uncomfortable for you, and I see that you're struggling through it, I don't want you to feel unsafe or that you have to relive that again, because those emotions are going to feel real. You're going to feel like you're experiencing that memory all over again, like you're right back in that lifetime. So I'll ask you, because you're going to be fully conscious during
Mm-hmm.
this whole session. You're just going to be in a relaxed state. And so if you're uncomfortable, I'll ask, do you want to move forward? And you'll reply yes or no, because this is going to be a dialogue that you and I have together. And I'm going to be listening for your answers in order to know where to take the session, because I'm going to get nosy. And I know you want to know as much as you can about your lifetimes. And so this is what I'm just going to guide it depending on your answers. Um, I may even peek in the chat and see if anyone has questions during the session if they want me to ask, if I can catch it in time, so they can help guide the session too. So you guys can also help me be the past life regressionist. It'll be fun, I promise. So, um,
I'm about to get vulnerable, guys.
so I do want you to know that you're safe. Um, this isn't going to harm you in any way. This is totally voluntary as well. So I just want to make sure that I have your permission to do this
Yes,
live.
ma'am.
Um,
Yes, we
and
do.
towards the end of the session, I usually ask the higher self to step forward to answer any questions that you might have. So if there's any questions that you want to know about yourself that you haven't been able to tap into the answers yourself, I don't know if you probably can do that on your own, but just in case, if there's anything that you want to know, I'll be happy to ask on your behalf to the higher self. So if you have anything, I'm going to write it down so I remember to ask it correctly. So,
No, I'm good. I'm
okay.
ready. relaxed. I just, knowing that I'm fully aware of what's going on, but yet in a very relaxed state. As you mentioned, I'm going to be tapping into different emotions, and that's a vulnerable place to be when you're on a live.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also extremely open to it because I highly, I can't even tell you how much I believe in this work and what everyone should be doing right now, especially those that are struggling as they are waking up and wanting to know, what am I supposed to do? And that message that I got a couple of days ago, remember who you are. And I think that's the question, if I had to ask at all, remember who I am, is that would be it. I want to know who I am because I know what I can do. And I mean, I know who I am as a human, but remembering who I am on a spiritual level is really going to be powerful.
Yes. Typically, when I ask clients to bring in questions, the typical question that people ask are, what's my life purpose? What am
Mm-hmm.
I here to do? And a lot of times when we start hearing the patterns of lifetimes, it's quite apparent what that is. And it may be just to clear out some karma, because we don't have to carry that karmic debt. We can detach from it anytime just by saying it. I release all karmic debt. Um, I am new. I'm moving this tomorrow, or right now is a new me moving forward. Um, but sometimes we have soul contracts. And so we tend to, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. And that is in my lifetime. Um, this is going to get a little personal. So if my family's watching, just know
Sorry.
that you're doing your work, and I thank you for that part in my journey. So this lifetime, I was raised in a very religious household, and I knew at a young age that this is not what I believe in. This is not who I am. And as I got older and I was old enough to make my own decisions, I left that religion, and it really created a disconnect between me and my family. Um, and my whole family that are in Utah, if that gives you any clue
I
of what
got you.
religion this is, um, they stopped talking to me after I left because I had my records removed and everything. And it was a couple years before my parents started, you know, listening and stopped thinking I'm listening to the devil and all that good stuff. And bless their heart for sticking to their own faith. You know what I mean? They did
Mhm.
what they've been instructed to do, and I don't fault them for that. But I really miss them. I talk to them now, but it's not the same.
Not the same.
But we come in as a soul group, and we each play different roles in each lifetime. For instance, my father this lifetime could have been a best friend from another lifetime. And it's we come in to live life from multiple perspectives. And so this was the life that I wanted to separate from that soul grouping to evolve and grow spiritually. And I couldn't do that in that environment. And so they had to do something to make me want to leave and separate from that soul group. And as horrible as that sounds, out of unconditional love, they said that this is what they would do. They would help assist in that, and meant to push me away when this thing happened. And so I love them for following through without even realizing it, because they don't remember that that soul meeting that we had before coming in to this incarnation. And um, it's not that I'm disconnecting and severing ties or anything like that. We're souls. We're all connected all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's it is what it is. And something else people will ask me, why would I choose the parents that I have now? The people that have the most difficult upbringing are called to a higher purpose. And I think you know this. It took me a while to understand this. I'm like, why would I choose that for myself?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't grow up in an abusive family or anything. other than just religion and not being able to breathe and think for myself. But it was the fact that I just I wanted to I wanted to grow, and so this was the agreement that we had, and they followed through. But like I said, that like child abuse and stuff like that, these children have a choice as they get older. Am I going to be like my parents, or am I going to work through this and become a greater version of myself? Because of what I've been through, I can help others heal through that too.
Right.
And so this is the path of the light worker, the empath. We all experience different lifetimes, and it's not always comfortable. Things have to get uncomfortable in order to go into a different direction. I mean, kind of like stubbing your toe.
Mm-hmm.
You stub your toe because you hit something and you don't want to do that again, so you change direction. You go this way instead of that way this time. But it's the same way in your life circumstances. You hit um, a block in your life. You get a choice. There's a fork in the road. Which way are you going to take it? Understand that either direction is still the right direction, because,
Mm-hmm.
well, think about a GPS. You go a different direction than the GPS is telling you. Oh, recomputing, this is the way life is. Your
Right.
guides are there to help you navigate through life, and they're always waiting for you to ask for help, give permission, and invite that in, connect with them. Which is what's going to happen tonight, is that your guides are going to help bring you information. Your higher self is going to step in as well. So I don't remember what I was going to say now, but this is this is not something that you're doing on your own. You have a team in this
Right.
session. It's not just you and me. It's all of us. My guides, your guys. We're having a good time hanging out right now. So with that said, um, the way this is going to feel, and I don't know what your Akashic record session was like, but this is just going to feel like a guided journey or a guided meditation. And the first story that usually comes in, your first lifetime that usually comes in, is going to feel like a fake story. People say that every time. It feels like I'm making this up. And the reason it feels that way is because it's being dropped into your awareness. It's something that
Mm-hmm.
you normally wouldn't think about. It's just being dropped for you to access. So I always tell my clients, go with that story. And once you start learning to trust that information coming in, which is how you also develop your psychic abilities, once you start trusting, more information is just going to come. It's going to start flowing in. It's going to feel natural. And next thing you know, I'm telling you, hey Donna, it's time to get up. We got to leave. Let's come back to this life. But it's going to be comfortable. Um, and it might get a little emotional. Like I said, people, when you experience loss in those lifetimes, it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to know that anyone that I've ever done past life regression with, I've always asked them, was it a painful death? No, I didn't feel pain at all, other than leaving my family behind. That's the most pain that they feel. But physical pain in the moment of death is not even, there's no death in, or there's no pain in death. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's something that scares people, they want to revisit that, no worries.
I'm good.
The lifetimes I remember, I've never had pain either. So, all right. Just gotta wet my palate, because when I start talking, my mouth gets dry and sticky, and I hate that sound. But are all your distractions away? I
They
mean,
are. I
okay.
even gave John strict orders to not let Jax bark. So we're good.
So even if there is a distraction, we'll work with that. We'll allow that to be a reminder that you're still in this existence too, because you won't remember. You will be in the moment that you're experiencing. So sometimes we forget, when people I bring people back, they're just like, they're looking around like, where the heck am I? So you are safe in your bed. And yeah, if you have any questions for me, should we take questions before we start, or just wing it?
One of the things that I keep seeing in the chat is one of the questions that my group is asking is to tap in to see what kind of a soul contract I have with Jax. So it's probably because they saw the videos of when I moved and I was saying goodbye to Jax, and it was heart wrenching, because he stole my heart, and so a couple of people have asked that, what is the relationship, what soul contract do I have with Jackson, and was I married to him in a previous life or something?
Is Jax your dog?
Yes, Jax
Or
is my
okay, okay, okay.
yeah,
So just
Jax
so
is
everyone knows, yeah, the soul isn't a gender, it's not a
mm-hmm,
race, it's not anything but the soul. And so you may experience lives that are interdimensional,
mm-hmm,
meaning like in the mystical realm, you may experience interplanetary lifetimes, like on another planet doing something different. But we also can be elementals. I've had people come in as grass, and I'm like, what the heck is behind that? How does that even work? Why would you want to be grass? Because it's a choice, you know. And my what I actually had that happen, and I'm like, I wanted to kind of laugh inside, but also it's because I was unfamiliar. I'm like, what the heck? Because I learned from this session a really good lesson, and that is to just allow whatever comes in to come in and not judge it. And so I'm
mm-hmm.
asking you that too. Don't judge what's coming in, just trust it. And as far as the grass lifetime, I asked him, did you ever have, contact with humans as the grass? And he's like, yeah. I said, well, did they ever cut the grass? And he says, yes, but that's necessary. That's necessary for growth. I'm like, well, then what was the purpose of being in grass? And he goes, I just come to learn patience.
Yeah, wow. And I guess
And I
I
was
can
like,
relate
oh my
to that.
gosh.
I can relate to that from an energetic level, because everything is energy, including grass,
Uh-huh,
including trees,
uh-huh,
the flowers,
uh-huh.
everything is energy. And I always tell people when they're experiencing loss and that the physical body dies, the energetic body lives on, and it can live on in different forms because it's energy. So I get it. So who knows what I'm going to come back as, but I am ready. Let's go. Let's do this.
Okay. Do you have any music playing on the background that can
I do not.
assist?
I
Okay.
do not.
Do you feel you need it?
Nope.
Okay. Good.
Do
All right.
you? You could play music
No.
on your end and I'll hear it.
Nope. Nope. Well, I'm going to start tapping in too. So what I do is when I guide you through the session, a lot of times my eyes are closed as well because I'm seeing the visions that you're bringing in. Sometimes I'll see them even before they come out of your mouth, but I'm not a reader, but I still, once in a while, I'll see something happening before it comes out of the client's mouth. And this is how I know we're in sync. So, but yeah, my eyes will be closed unless you're going through an emotional time. Then I'll take a peek and see where you're at as far as facial expression and just your body mannerisms. I just want to keep a lookout for that. But like I said, I don't want you to be uncomfortable. You may end up coming into a war scene or something. So I don't want you to feel like you have to feel the pain associated with that. If it gets uncomfortable, you could pull yourself out of that and you just view it from an outside perspective rather than being in that body at that time. So, but I'll keep a lookout.
Okay.
You getting
Just
comfortable?
readjusting.
Okay.
Readjusting.
All
All
right.
right, we're good.
Before we begin, as you know, breath work is so important. And so I'm going to do breath work. I'm going to do 3 deep cleansing breaths, and I want you to do the same. You can count your own. I'm not going to count it out loud, but what this does is it resets the nervous system to allow for more focus and clarity of the thoughts and information coming in. And then what we're going to do is I like to use my singing bowls to open the top 3 spiritual chakras. But this time I won't get too close to my phone because last time I blasted them, everybody was in the chat. They're like, oh my gosh, I'll try not to get too close, but I will definitely use those and have you do some visuals with them. So while we're doing breath work, I'm going to get my bowls and get set up here. Okay. And if you can visualize with your eyes open, that's cool, but I want you to, I'm going to have you visualize colors of energy while I'm doing the bowls. And we'll start with the throat. Your throat center or your throat chakra. It's out of alignment when you can't speak your truth or you feel like you're being misunderstood. Maybe maybe you talk too much, and this is out of alignment too. So whether it's out of alignment or not, I still am going to play the bowl, which is going to open the throat energy center for us so we can speak with truth. So I want you to visualize at the throat a blue energy and spin that for me. Can you hear that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Is it too loud?
No, it's perfect.
Okay, good. Good. And a good affirmation for the throat chakra is I speak my truth. All right. Moving on up to the third eye, which is the center of the forehead. This chakra is out of alignment when you have a lack of imagination, or maybe you have a disconnect from your intuition, or you're just not listening to your intuition. So I want you to visualize an indigo color energy spinning at the forehead, at the third eye. And just affirming, I see. I see. Moving on up to the crown, the top of the head. This is out of alignment when we have a disconnect from the divine. Maybe we're having some brain fog or depression going on. This means it's out of alignment. So I want you to visualize a violet color energy spinning at the crown. While we balance it out, open it up. Just affirming, I am divine. Okay, go ahead and take a couple more deep breaths. And typically when someone's in the office for a balancing of all the energy centers, I can actually tell when it's out of tune by the way it sounds. And I could tell mine are slightly off by the way it was sounding when it was playing back to me. So that's why I kept playing a little longer. Now what I'm going to do now is called the induction. And what this is just to get you in a more relaxed state. And I'm going to call it the body scan. And we're going to go through from head to toe, relaxing all those muscles. And I use a specific language when I'm doing this, and it's using the secret language of the body and what your body is actually telling you when something's going wrong with these body parts. And so with that said, I just want you to focus on your head and all those muscles, just relaxing your head. And any anger that's been held in lately, go ahead and release that. Or any weighing thoughts, go ahead and release attachment to that so you can fully relax your head. Relaxing your brow also, and unclenching your jaw. And then moving on down to the neck, allowing it to feel flexible and comfortable. This is where your throat energy center is located. And so when we aren't speaking our truth, this is when we wake up with a kink in our neck sometimes. So if you have any attachment to not speaking your truth, go ahead and release that attachment so you can fully relax your neck. And then moving on down to the shoulders, the right side and the left side. Just relaxing those muscles and releasing any tension. And this is where we carry the weight of the world. And so when you're carrying way too much, this is when you're going to find issues going on with your shoulders. So if you have any attachment to that, go ahead and release it so you can fully relax your shoulders. Breathing in more ease rather than dis-ease. And then bringing your attention to your arms, your right arm and your left arm, relaxing all those muscles all the way down to your fingertips. And our arms are meant to hold things, and so when we're holding on to something or unable to let something go, this is when we experience issues with our hands and our arms. So if you have any attachment to that, go ahead and release that so you can fully relax both arms. And then drawing your attention to your chest, allowing yourself to breathe in and out safely and freely, comfortably. When we experience issues with our respiratory system, it's because we're feeling smothered in our life circumstances. Maybe we just can't breathe. Too much going on around us. We just can't get a breath. So if you have any attachment to that, go ahead and release that so you can breathe freely, breathe safely. Good job. Good job. Now moving on down to your stomach and your abdomen, just relaxing that area. This is where we house our emotions. And so when we're unable to digest issues going on in our life, this is where it's going to show up in the body. Maybe you experience some constipation or irritable bowel. This is where it's going to show up when you're stuffing emotions. So if you have any attachment to that, go ahead and release that. Just fully relax your stomach and your abdomen. Now bringing your attention to your back, just relaxing all those muscles. And our back is meant to support our entire body. So when we're feeling unsupported in our life circumstances, this is where it's going to show up as pain or inflammation. And so if you have any attachment to that, go ahead and release it. And this usually revolves around relationships, work, or finances. And so if you have any attachment to any of that, release that and just fully relax your back. Good job on your breathing. Now let's bring your attention down to your hips, the right side and the left side. So relaxing that area. This is where we carry our children. And so when we're experiencing issues with our children or other people's children, this is where it's going to show up in the body. If you have any attachment to that, go and release that. This is also where we carry our laundry baskets. So when you're carrying too much dirty laundry of other people, it's also going to show up in the hip area. So release all attachment and fully relax that area. Moving on down to your legs, right leg and left leg, relaxing all those muscles, releasing any tension all the way down to your toes. And our legs are meant to move us forward. And so when we're feeling stuck in our life circumstances, this is where it's going to show up in the body as pain or inflammation. And like earlier, maybe you might stub your toe, and this is just your body's way of saying, we need to change direction. And so if you have any attachment to feeling like you can't chase your dreams, go ahead and release any attachment and fully relax both legs. Doing a great job. So go ahead and take a deep breath in and release. Now I want you to, we're going to do some adjusting in the mental or the emotional control room is what I call it. So I want you to visualize yourself in a room surrounded by controls. Everywhere you look are controls. And you can decorate the room however you like. This is your room. Just make it comfortable. You get a visual of being in your room right now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what I want you to do now is just to start walking towards one of the walls, because I'm going to have you look for a control on the wall. And I want you to find the control that's labeled anxiety and create it to look like a dial. So if you can't find it, create it on the wall and just take a look at that dial. See where your anxiety level is at, high or low. You don't have to tell me. Just visualize it and observe it for a moment. And when you're ready, I want you to visualize yourself reaching out and turning it all the way down. That dial needs to go all the way down, just releasing any anxiety left in the body. And feel it leaving the body as you turn the dial all the way down. And next to that control is one labeled fear. So this is also a dial. And just kind of gauge where you're at on that dial, high or low of fear. And when you're ready, I want you to visualize yourself reaching out and turning this dial all the way down as well. All the way down. The opposite of fear is love. So as you're turning that dial down, I want you to allow yourself to feel love replacing that fear, because that is your natural state, is love. And next to that dial, I want you to visualize one labeled depression. And we all experience depression at some point in our life. So take a look at that dial and see where you're at, high or low. And when you're ready, I want you to visualize yourself reaching out and turning that dial all the way down as well. All the way down. Good job. Now we're going to change direction. Let's walk to the other side of the room. And I want you to find the dial on the wall that's labeled happiness. You may have to brush off some cobwebs. You may not even realize that you have control of your happiness. So however it looks, just gauge it high or low on that dial. And when you're ready, I want you to visualize yourself reaching out and turning that dial all the way up as well. All the way up, because you deserve happiness. You always have. And next to that dial, I want you to find one labeled joy. And these usually go hand in hand. So kind of gauge where you're at on that dial, high or low. And when you're ready, I want you to visualize yourself reaching out and turning this dial all the way up as well, all the way up, 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 letting that joy surge through your entire body, because you've always deserved joy as well. Good job. So let's take a step away from the wall, and I want you to make your way to the center of the room and just stand in the center of the room for a moment. And as you're there, I want you to visualize a control coming right out of the floor and meeting you at hand level. This is a very, very large and heavy dial. Most people don't even know they have access to this in their control room. And this control is labeled self-love. Whether you've been told you're unworthy in your life, or maybe you self-sabotage, this all affects this dial. So kind of gauge where you're at on this dial and know that you have the power to turn this one all the way up. We're going to turn this one all the way up, all the way up. You're doing such a good job. Allow yourself to feel that hug coming in that you've been waiting to feel all your life. Surround yourself with love and keep pushing that dial all the way up. And just when you think you've pushed it all the way up, push it even further. Can you feel that? I can see the smile on your face. Good job. Did you dial all the way up?
Yes.
Good. And go ahead and step away from the dial and allow it to go right back down into the floor, unnoticeable by the naked eye. And straight in front of you, I want you to place a mirror on the wall in front of you and just walk yourself up to that mirror and look directly into your eyes. And you're already smiling, so keep that smile going as you're looking at yourself in the mirror. And I'm going to give you some affirmations we're going to say as you're looking at in your eyes. I want you to say this to yourself. You don't have to say it out loud, just repeat it in your head as you're looking in your eyes. And those words are, I love you. I have always loved you. And I will always love you. I am enough. I have always been enough, and I will always be enough. I am worthy. I am worthy of love from myself and from others. I always have been. I forgive you. I forgive you for all the mistakes I've ever made, because there's no such thing. They're just life lessons. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's taken this long to make these changes in my control room. And thank you. Thank yourself for being in the control room and doing this exercise. Most of us don't even realize that we have that much control. The subconscious is extremely strong. And so as you're there in the control room, go ahead and step away from the mirror, feeling whole. I want you just to gaze around the room and locate the door to your control room. We're not going to go through it yet. I just want you to observe it and take in what it looks like, what color it is, what texture it is. Does it have a handle? Does it have windows? Just observe it. And when you're ready, I want you to make your way through that door. We're going to go down a hallway. You're right, that was Ho'oponopono, what we just did. See the comments there. So let's go ahead and go down the wall, or down the hallway. And at the end of the hallway is an elevator. It's a very comfortable elevator, very large and cozy. So just make your way down to the elevator and just go inside and allow that door to close slowly behind you. We're just going to pause for a moment. And I want you to notice the control panel on the inside of the elevator, because the control panel has 10 floors, and each floor represents a level of relaxation. So floor number 10 is not relaxed at all, and floor number 1 is fully relaxed. So I want you to gauge your level of relaxation and let me know what floor matches your level when you arrive there.
3.
Good job. Good job. So we're on floor number 3, pretty close to being fully relaxed. That's a really good job. So I want you to allow that door to open slowly in the elevator and walk through and describe that level of relaxation. What do you experience as you go through that door? What comes up to you?
I see a pool
Okay.
and a lot of like palm trees and just a serene, calm, quiet environment.
Sounds pretty good. Is there anyone else there with you?
No.
Okay. What about the temperature? How do you feel in here in this area?
It's warm. It's about 86 degrees.
That's very specific. Good job. Good job. So I want you to use all your senses now and listen for the wind, maybe even the water of the pool in a ripple, just using your hearing. using your smelling too to see if you can smell the pool. Maybe even going over to the pool and touching the water. Using that sense as well. Touch the water and feel that. And listen to the sound it makes as you touch the water. Can you feel that?
No.
No? How about the palm trees that you were visualizing? Are they moving at all? Do you get a sense of having a breeze or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. Are there any colors that stick out specifically to you in this moment?
Very green and very blue.
Okay, good job. Good job. And these colors are also associated with the throat and the heart space. So just take in that moment and make your way now back to the elevator. And just allow that door to close slowly behind you. And we're going to go down to floor number 2 now, allowing your body to also reach that level of relaxation, just going down further and further relaxed. So we're going to go down to level or floor number 2 in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Floor number 2. Now let that door open slowly and walk on through that level and describe your experience on this level of relaxation. What do you walk into?
It's not as pleasant as door number 3.
Okay. Why is that? What do you see there?
Very dark.
Okay. Is the dark uncomfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you hear anything while you're there?
I don't hear. It's just a knowing that there's something not so nice here.
Okay. Let's go back to the elevator then. Just allow that door to close slowly. Good job on your breathing. I'm going to pause here and just allow yourself to reach a deeper level of relaxation. So now we're going to try to go down to level 1 or floor number 1, being more relaxed, more at ease, just overall comfort. And we're going to reach level 1 or floor number 1 in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Floor number 1. We're going to pause here for a moment. Just allow the body to come down to that level with us. Doing an entire body scan if you need to. Just allow yourself to relax. And now what we're going to do is on the other side of this door is a recent favorite or happy memory. I want you to go ahead and let that door open. Walk onto that memory and tell me where you go.
I am with my children.
Okay, and how old are you?
Um, 50.
Okay. How long ago was this?
13 years ago.
Okay. Tell me more about that day. What did you do with your children?
It was a party, and my oldest son was moving to Texas, and we were doing a going away party.
Do you remember what you're wearing that day?
I don't.
Okay. Anyone else's outfits stand out to you that you can remember?
Mm, my daughter-in-law, she always wears like skinny people clothes, and she always looks awesome.
Awesome. Good job. All right. Well, do you remember any foods that you ate that day at the
There
party?
was a lot of sugar. There was a lot of candy, um, a lot of stuff that my grandkids don't normally eat. And everybody was freaking out because they kept eating it and I kept giving it to them.
But you can laugh about it now, can't you?
Absolutely.
Good, good. I'm glad it was a happy memory for you. Let's go ahead now and close that scene. We're going to travel back to another favorite childhood memory, one that brought you great happiness and joy. We're going to go back to that memory in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Be there now. Where do you go? What comes up for you? Are you having some difficulty?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's choose a different time frame. Maybe as you're a little bit older with some friends, maybe some friends as you were a child even, and let's take ourselves to that memory that created happiness. Maybe it was a school memory or another birthday party or something. Let's go there and see what first comes up for you in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Be there now. What memory comes up for you?
8th grade trip to Washington, D.C.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Um, Elephant bell jeans were really popular then, don't judge. And I borrowed a pair from my best friend and I looked amazing. And we were standing on the steps of the Capitol, not the Capitol, but the Lincoln or Monument, I think.
Okay.
And they were taking a class picture. It was a lot of fun.
If you had to gauge how many were in that group, what number would you give it?
52?
Hmm. Good job. Good job. 8th grade. What about the rest of that year? Was it a good year for you?
It
Or was
was.
it awkward? Good.
Good.
Good. I'm glad. All right. Let's go ahead now. And I want you to thank everyone who showed up in this memory, your classmates, anyone who participated in that event. Go ahead and thank them for showing up in the memory and send them love because that energy still exists. And then we're going to close out that scene. Now we're going to travel back to your mother's womb in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. In your mother's womb, how do you feel?
Safe, warm, loved.
Good. Do you hear anything?
Her heartbeat.
Okay. I want you to focus in on yours. See if you can hear your heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Anything else besides the heartbeats that you're experiencing in this moment?
No.
Okay. So feeling safe and loved, warm, comfortable. As you're listening to the heartbeats, I want you to focus on yours and act as if there was a line going directly from your heart to your mother's and just pushing the gratitude and love energy through that line from your heart to hers. Just being extremely grateful for the life that was created when you were created. Good job. So let's go ahead now and close this scene. We're going to travel back to another significant lifetime in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. First impression, where do you go? What comes up for
I'm
you?
in a backyard hanging laundry.
Okay. And how old are you?
30?
Okay, good job. I want you to take a look at yourself and see what you're wearing. Do you feel feminine or masculine?
Feminine.
Okay. What type of body is this?
Kind of wish I had thin.
Okay. Is this human?
Yes.
Okay, good. Do you get a sense of having a family at this age?
Uh, 3 kids, I think.
Okay, good. What about a spouse? Is there a father in the picture?
Mm,
No?
mm.
Okay. So
He,
let's,
he's there.
what's that? He's there?
He's
Okay,
there.
good.
He's
Good.
he's
I want you to look at his eyes.
mm,
Not a fun memory. We don't have to stay if you don't want to. What are you experiencing?
um he's not nice.
Okay. Would you like to leave the scene or discover
Mm-mm.
more about what's going on?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Let's focus in on the children then and kind of gauge what ages they are.
Little. They're little.
Okay. Boys or girls? What do you have?
2 girls and a boy.
Okay. And what do you call them? What are their names? First impression.
Sally, Jessica, and George.
Good job. And what do you call your husband?
George.
Okay. And what does he call you? Your name?
Bitch.
What about your birth name? Do you get an idea of what that was?
Mm, Sarah.
Good job. Good job. You mentioned that your husband is not very nice. How does he support the family? Or is it
He,
you?
he's dirty. He's covered in like grease, dirty, smelling.
Okay. Do you get a sense of what he does? How he got
Uh,
dirty?
oil,
Okay.
oil.
Okay, good. You get a sense of doing anything outside of the home? Do you have an
Mm-mm.
occupation? No?
No.
Okay. Let's go ahead and close that scene and let's travel back to another significant event in the same lifetime. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Be there now. New event. What's going on? Remembering that you're safe. Where do you go?
He shot me.
Tell me more about that. Does this take
He
your
shot
life?
me. He shot me, and my babies are going to be left without their mom.
Did this take your life?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take your last breath there in that life. Safely allowing the soul to leave the body. We're just going to rest for a moment. Rest for a moment. And I'm going to ask you, what was the life lesson in that of having such a traumatic exit? What did you learn?
Self-respect.
Good.
Power.
Now that the soul is out of the body, where do you go next? What are you experiencing now?
White light.
Okay. Just keep describing it as you're experiencing it. Let it play out and follow it along.
I'm still very connected to my children.
Okay. Are you standing by?
I am. I
Okay.
watch them. I guide them. They can't see me, but they know that I'm here.
Good. Good. So your children in that lifetime, do you recognize them as someone that you might know that you're currently having a life experience with in your current lifetime?
Um, Maybe my grandchildren?
Okay. What about George, your husband? Who is
No,
that? No connection there?
no.
Just there helping you fulfill your purpose in that life?
Mm.
Okay. So you're just hovering and just standing by, watching over the children. How long does this time frame last? At what point does the experience change?
It's very quickly.
Okay. Where do you go after that? Just allow your soul to experience it.
I don't
What do you
know.
see?
I don't know where I am, but it's like a lot of castles. I see a lot of castles.
Okay. Do you get a sense of being in another life?
Yes,
Okay. Are you in a body?
I am.
Tell me more about that. What's your body like?
Light, um, not celestial, but angelic type.
Okay.
Just very light.
Okay. And is this a physical body or just light?
No, it's a physical body.
Okay.
I
Get a
feel
sense of very powerful?
very powerful. Yes,
Okay. Do you get a sense of having a masculine or feminine energy?
it's feminine energy, very strong, very powerful.
Okay. And how old are you in this memory that we're visiting right now?
I would say 40s.
Good. Do you get a sense of having a family?
No,
Okay. You mentioned being around what look like castles. I want you to kind of gauge the landscape and give me a more detailed look at that.
it's very
Where,
green, very hilly, very beautiful when you look out over the landscape. Like it reminds me of Ireland.
good job. That's what I was going to ask next. You're already on it. Good. Do you get a sense of an era that this is taking place?
Um, Very, I know, like 1800s maybe.
Okay. You mentioned not having a family at this point. Tell me more about what's going on in your life in this moment. How do you support yourself?
I'm a queen.
Okay, good. So, what does it feel like being the queen in this experience? Besides powerful, do you have a spouse or anyone else by your side?
No, just
No?
servants.
Okay. Get a sense of having a name. What do they call you?
Isabel.
Good job. Let's fast forward just a moment and see what else we can pull out from this lifetime. Just fast forward to another event that took place in that lifetime in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. New event. Where are you now?
I'm standing in front of a group of people.
Okay.
They're all kneeling. And I'm telling them to stand.
What else is going on there? What
They're
kind of
standing.
event is this?
I don't know. I don't, it's, they came to worship, but I don't, I'm changing them. I'm telling them not to. I'm telling them to stand up.
And what was the feedback like from that group? How do they react to that?
At first, they're shocked, but then they do.
Okay.
And then the sky opens, like a beautiful white light in the sky opens.
What else is
And
happening?
I hear angels singing. It's like trumpets, just very loud, just beautiful.
Tell me more.
Being free, being set free.
Is this in a spiritual sense or is it a physical thing going on?
It's both.
And what is the reaction of the group as this is happening?
They see me leaving my body and they look in awe.
Tell me more what this feels like to you.
Oh, it's
Is
amazing.
this a is it a transition?
It is amazing.
Keep going with that explanation. What else happens?
I go into the white light. I'm out of my body completely.
Okay.
I'm just a white light. I can go wherever I want.
Feeling free?
I'm not bound to go anywhere or do anything or be anything, just be.
So where
I,
do you go?
I choose I choose to come back. Why? Why? It's so beautiful.
I'm sure we all have that question coming back in.
Why?
So what is the purpose? What do you do next? Allow yourself to follow that through.
So many of us are chosen, or we choose to come back.
So what did you choose to experience this time around?
Oh, how I wish I had known this before.
Tell me, what are you experiencing?
There is just a vast, beautiful white light that encompasses all of us, every single one of us. If we just open ourselves up to this and just feel this beautiful, unconditional white light love, just pure love. But we get in our own way.
We do. So in this white light that you're describing, are there other souls? Can you expand on that? What else is there?
There's so many. There's so many white light souls, so many. And they're all working. They're like if you were going to imagine the North Pole with all the little elves making the toys for Christmas. That's what these white entities are doing. They're building and creating, and they're helping and they're guiding, and they have so much work to do. We make it so hard for them.
Yes, we do. What else are you experiencing? What's happening
I
now?
feel very disconnected, like not in my body, completely out of my body, kind of looking down. And it's as if I'm picking, like I want that one and I want that one and I want that one, as if I'm picking humans and picking humans that I want to help on their journey. It's like I'm choosing them. I want that one and 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 that one. There's like hundreds of them. They're everywhere.
Get a sense that maybe you're choosing someone to help guide in a lifetime. Are you a spirit guide in this existence right now that we're experiencing?
Yes.
Okay, tell me more about
But
that.
it's not like you just can only be one for one person. There's hundreds of them. There's no, like, I'm a spirit guide for hundreds of them, not just one. Where the human thinks that it's just one. It's amazing.
Tell me more about that experience. Describe what it's like guiding multiple souls at the same time. How does that work?
Ugh, they make it so hard. They make it so hard. But you have to just nudge them, and especially the ones that ask, the ones that truly ask for help. But they make that easy. They're the easy ones. It's the
Good.
ones that don't ask, that they know their divine path, but they don't know to ask. And all they have to do is ask. Just ask. Shall be.
So, what are the best ways to notice when our spirit guides are trying to get our attention? What is it that you do to get the soul's attention?
Synchronicities. We nudge them, we give them little signs, like something that they'll recognize. Maybe not at the moment that you give it to them, but at a later time, it'll click and go, ah, I get it.
That's so good to know. How else would you describe this experience as the guide?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I chose to take human form again. I chose to come here and experience life as a human.
Okay. How long
Chose.
does the existence last as the spirit guide? Is it a choice when you come in and leave?
Yes.
Good. That is so good to know.
Yes. You choose. You choose. It's funny because one would think, why would you choose to come back? Some come back several times, and it's to experience different things on a
Mhm.
human level,
Yes.
but to also help others as you progress. I don't know if that's the right word. But as you grow and expand, you're able to help other humans. And that's what it's all about. It's not that we want to suffer. As a human, it's not that we want to go through these things, but it's because we want to help and we forget. We don't have that when we don't have that memory of why we came here until we get that memory.
So, what about the souls that don't accomplish the mission that they've set out to come and do? What happens with that?
They accomplish what they meant to do in the time frame that they meant to do it. So there is no right or wrong or time frame or what you're supposed to learn. It's ongoing.
So, as the guide, what would you have a message for the humans? Anything that we should know on as far as connection to our guides?
To learn to trust and learn to ask, because we're here helping you on your journey, but we can't help you if you don't ask. We respect your free will. You have to ask.
Uh-huh.
And when you ask, we can do whatever it is that you need us to do.
Are there things that you can't do as the guide?
We respect free will, so we can't change someone's mind. We can only guide them and hope that they make the right decision, but we can't force a human to make decisions. They have to make them on their own.
Can you give us an example of what you mean by a nudge when you're trying to get the human to, say, go in a different direction or do something different? What does a nudge look like?
Something that they would recognize, a bird or a color or numbers, sequence of numbers, putting people in their life, and someone will tell them something and they'll look at that person like, how did you know? So it can be other people, not just objects or things, but actual people that will put in your life to nudge you in the right direction, both good and bad. Sometimes, if you have someone who's not so good in your life, that lesson is to teach you to be your own person and turn away from that person to become who you're supposed to be. So it
Very
can
good.
be people.
Very good. Thank you for that information. Would you like to experience another lifetime? You mentioned that you're choosing to go into another lifetime after being in the spiritual realm as a guide. Where do you go next?
I feel like I've had many lifetimes or many experiences in human form, um, and beyond, like galactically. The Earth is not just Earth. It's not just Earth. As many think that this is it. This is not just Earth. There's so much more out there.
Can you expand on that?
There's other planets and life on other planets, but not life as you would think. Humans are the most complex of species, and I think they're the most fascinating. I feel like I'm floating away from the spirit guide.
Okay. Take us with you. Where do you go?
I'm floating through space.
Okay.
It's fascinating. You can take planets and just push them like they're just, there's no, you could just push them. Stars
As
are,
as you're floating out in the cosmos and you view Earth from an outside perspective, there are questions in the comments. What shape is it?
it's round. It's
That's a
like the
great
other,
answer.
it's round.
Is it round flat or round like a sphere?
It's round like a spear, sphere.
Okay, good.
But that's just how the human mind perceives it. Um, when you're in the galaxies, it's different. It's humans have to label everything. Humans have to have an explanation for everything. And when when you're in the space and you're in the galaxies, we tend to find that funny because nothing needs to be labeled. Everything just is.
Yes, I love that answer. Good. So as you're out there floating in the cosmos, tell me where we go next. Let's find out in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Be there now. Where do you go next?
I'm on Pallades.
Okay, good. Good. Tell me more about this place.
The Palladians love Earthlings. We love to watch them. They're fascinating.
Why?
They're they're like little ants in a colony, um, and there's different colonies all throughout the earth, and you've got all kinds of good and bad and um, just everybody running around trying to figure out life. And we look down on them, not in a down like down on them as if below, but down because Pallades is above the earth. Um, and we look down and we just find them fascinating. Humans are so funny. Uh, they really are. They're so fun.
Do you get a sense of being a physical form there in the Pleiades? Tell me more about you.
um, well, I certainly don't have a human body. Um, the head is square. Um, the body is thin and square. Um, very intelligent beings, whereas we understand that the humans are trying to figure it out, um, but they're all over the place. If they could just come together, um, and unify as one, it would be so much easier for them. But they just, they're so funny. But we don't interject. Um, we watch from a distance, and there are other planets with other beings that have and continue to protect Earth. Um, so the Earth beings that think that the world is ending, the galaxies will not let that happen because Earth is very important to all of us because we are learning from the species of the Earthling. The Earth person um, never they never expected them to expand to the consciousness that they have. So it's fascinating now to watch as people wake up and wake up to this new dimension or these new dimensions. And the galaxies never thought that would happen, but it is happening. So it's fascinating. So any threat to the earth right now will not um, take the earth or dissolve the earth or nuclear weapons or anything like that. Although it is there, and there are threats from those on Earth in the galaxy, as they have in the past, will protect Earth from any destruction.
So tell me more about, as far as humans, are you able to communicate with humans in from the Pleiades or in
Yeah.
that form? How does that
Yes.
happen?
If they choose to communicate with us, we can open those lines of communication, as can others from Sirius, um, the other planets that are out there. Um, but the human has to open that line of communication uh, before we will um, communicate with them.
And what is the best way to do that? How do we open up for that? Is there a specific thing we need to say or
I think it's a knowing. There are on Earth what we call star seeds, which are um, entities that have come from the other planets that chose to go to Earth. And those star seeds know what planet they've come from, and that's how they would open up that line of communication is through remembering. They have to remember where they came from. That would be through asking um, their higher selves where they came from.
and how does the answer come through when a person will ask, what planetary systems have I had an experience in? What does that look like?
It's telepathic.
Okay.
It's what we call a download or a sometimes a rapid eye movement, and a lot of information will come in at one time when those lines of communication are open.
Good. So, in the body of the Pleiades, in existing in that lifetime right now, tell me more about what it is like to live in the planet. Are there buildings? Where do you live? Tell me more about what you're experiencing in that life to your best
It's
ability.
not like Earth at all. Thank God. It's very organized, very compassionate, very, we speak without words. It's again telepathic, a knowing, and a very um, calm environment. Very calm, not chaotic at all. Uh, Beautiful lights. There's a lot of lights. Just beautiful.
And do you get a sense of having gender? What's
No,
happening there?
no.
So, how
There's,
do more.
we're all the same. We're all one. There is no gender. There is no rank. Um, but there are different sectors of the planet. Um, so on one side of the planet may not know what the other side is doing, but it is a
Okay.
calm planet.
So, in that life experience that you're going through right now, how do more Pleiadians come into existence? Like in human lifetime, we reproduce to create more humans. Does that even happen in the Pleiades? Tell me more about that.
No, it's they're just energy beings. They're just
Okay.
beings. So there's no birth or death. They're just beings.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. Also, another question in the chat is, as you're experiencing that lifetime, are there any others there that you recognize from having a lifetime on Earth with currently?
Not in physical form, but in energy form. We've been together for many lifetimes with many different humans. And we can leave if we choose to.
Okay. And so Pleiadians are also considered a star seed. So are there Pleiadians living in human form on the Earth currently?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that we need to know about that existence in the Pleiades?
They're a very calm species. They are protectors of Earth, as are other planets in the galaxy. And the star seeds that are here on Earth are waking up at a very rapid rate to help save the Earth.
I had another question in the chat. In the lifetime as the Pleiades experience, somebody wants to know the feelings in humans as far as I'm trying to think of how to ask this without getting banned. Are there any euphoric feelings similar to the lifetime in the human as the highest pleasure that you can experience, if you know what I'm talking about? Do Pleiadians experience that bliss or that elevated energy?
Not like humans do.
Okay.
What makes humans so fascinating is that they can experience these high frequencies, these high levels of vibration, and then experience euphoria when they achieve those higher frequencies. That's what makes the human so amazing. That they can experience emotion, which is not something that Palladians experience. We don't experience emotion like a human would experience emotion.
Good to know. That was a great answer. And there's more questions coming in about that lifetime. And you mentioned earlier that Pleiadians are protectors of the planet, not allowing any destruction, but along with other planetary systems as well. How else are the Pleiadians assisting in saving Earth? What else do we need to do our part as humans?
The star seeds that are on Earth right now that are waking up along with the light workers are raising the vibration of Mother Earth itself. The the good and the evil that is going on right now is nothing new. Earth has experienced this many times over many years. The difference now is that this awakening phase, with everyone waking up so rapidly that they never thought that we would be able to tap into these higher levels of consciousness that we are, and um, that that is going to help Mother Earth maintain her vibration and her frequency to create a peaceful and calm new world where there is love and compassion, and the evil will subside and the light will rise up, and it will be a beautiful, harmonious experience. My whole body just got chills.
Tell me more about that.
It started at the top of my head and went down to the bottom of my feet. It was a very strange feeling, um, but my human side knows that when I feel that, that is a validation that the words that are being spoken are truth. So that is a validation that we are going to be okay.
Thank you for that. It makes me feel good. Also, I wanted to know about, say, for instance, there's a meteor headed to Earth. What happens with that? Is there any, um, what type of protection is on the outside of Earth preventing that from impact? Do you know about that?
Well, we do have an electromagnetic field that is around the Earth itself. And then when the sun has the solar flares, it goes through that electromagnetic field sometimes and can affect different things on Earth herself. However, if there was a destructive meteor or something coming, the other planets would move it.
It's wonderful to know. That makes me feel so comfortable and safe. So thank you for that. There's so a lot of people asking that in the comments. Would you have any information on the pyramids?
They are extraterrestrial. I don't know which planet they came from, but they were not built by man.
Good. That's what I wanted to know too. Thank you for validating that. Let's see. Is there any other information that we need to know about the life in the Pleiades? You said it was a calm race. Any other characteristics stand out to you?
Just the lights. Like there's a lot of light, a lot of light. Not around them, but within them. They're light beings.
Do you have any information on aging in the human form? Do you know anything about that? Is it really a thing, or is it a program?
I think that the aging process is a cycle. It's we're born and we grow and we recycle. We die and then we go into the other dimension and we decide what we want to do at that point. But the human body is designed to age. Um, but once that human body dissolves and the energy form takes over, we choose where we're going to go from there.
Good to know. And what about back in the Old Testament days, humans lived for 800 to 900 years. What has happened with the human race now that we aren't able to live that long anymore? What's going on with that?
The environment is killing the human.
And
The
how do we fix
food,
that?
the food that we eat is destroying our immune systems. The water is not safe, and the only way that we can change that is through awareness, paying attention to what you're putting into your body, into your temple, and what you are putting out.
Good. Another random question. Perhaps you might be able to answer this. Is Atlantis still existing to this day?
Yes.
Thank you for that. Thank you for validating that. Would it be okay now if I called the higher self forward to answer any other questions?
Yes.
Thank you for that. The question would be the connection that Donna has with Jax. What is that connection? Is there another lifetime associated with that deep connection?
Jackson was a child of Donna's in another lifetime.
Can you give her some insight on that? What lifetime that might have been? Can you expand on that?
Mm, Jax was an only child back in the 1700s,
Okay.
and he was always getting into trouble.
So is this still the case in the current lifetime?
Yes.
And this serves as a good reminder. There was
Yes.
another there's another question I would like to ask the higher self, and that was in the comments. Someone wanted to know if there are bad aliens. What can you tell
Yeah.
us about that? Can you
Yes.
expand on that?
Being that I work with the light, I don't open myself up to that energy. I know they exist, but I do not give them energy. And Usually, if someone is not in the light, um, the darker energies or ETs will present themselves. Um, but I don't give them energy to give enough information on how they work or how they infiltrate into the human. But yes, they do exist. And
Thank you.
the best way to not have them come into your existence is to protect yourself with the white light at all times.
Is there a way that we can tell if there is a good or a bad entity in our experience when we approach someone? Do they look different, maybe?
I think it's an individual experience for each person. Some people can feel the energy, some people can see it, some people hear it. Um, you have to learn to trust yourself and what you perceive to be good and bad. And if you have trouble with that, we are the higher self there to help you maneuver through the good and the bad.
Thank you for that answer. That's beautiful. So, being that we're on Earth, are there other planets that is having light work going on, or are most planets more evolved than Earth?
They're all more evolved than Earth. But again, Earth is evolving quicker than anyone ever thought we would, which is why it's so important to continue on these paths, on these journeys, waking up and helping others to wake up because we are evolving at a very rapid rate. Um, yes.
Thank you. Thank you for those answers. Wonderful to hear that. It's exciting, actually, to hear that. Is there any other messages that you might have for Donna or the collective that are listening right now?
Remember who you are.
Yes. Anything else?
No,
Are we complete?
we are.
Thank you. I want to thank the higher self for stepping forward and answering some amazing questions. There's so many in the comments sending love right now. I would like to call Donna back so we can return to our current reality. And I would like to do that in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to your current reality, wiggling your fingers and your toes, remembering where you're at, adjusting to the lighting in the room. How do you feel now? Take your time.
Why am I crying?
Because it was a pretty heavy experience. Now you're coming back into the physical. It's like the soul's been traveling all this time, and now we're back.
That was weird. That was really weird.
So you mentioned during this session that you felt this energy coming through your head all the way down to your toes, just like tingling. What was
Mm-hmm.
that?
Um, it felt like a validation that um, whatever I was saying at the time. was truth. um,
Just so you know, I'm also recording the audio of this, so I'll send you a
okay.
copy of it as well. But also, with the replay of this, those who have come in after the session had already begun, that didn't know what was going on, once I have access to the replay, I'm going to upload it to my YouTube channel. You might have access to this too, and I don't know if you have a YouTube channel to upload it to, but you can certainly do whatever you need to with this session. My full permission on that. And there was quite a few comments going in, but I had to be cautious of how I asked it because I didn't want it to be taken off, if you know what I mean. Some subjects are very sensitive, and so I couldn't use specific words like heightened energy or blissful feelings and such when we were talking about creation of other beings. I don't know if you remember that question, but when you listen to it later, you'll remember more. And something that also happens after sessions like this is that the doors open. The doors open. So in the next weeks, months, sometimes more information will come in and it'll make more sense to you. You'll start putting pieces together and it'll expand on what you already have experienced. And there may just be a knowing one day. You're just like, now I remember the full life that Jackson and I had, and it'll just click, and you'll know without a shadow of a doubt. You may even get goosebumps when that memory comes in. And I encourage you to journal, especially after in the next few days. Keep a bedside journal to journal what your dreams are like, because a lot of times they're associated with this experience right now, and they help make more sense of what's going on right now.
I think what I find absolutely fascinating is that it's 9 o'clock. Like, like where the hell did
You
the
already had a
time?
nap. It's okay. We can keep going.
Like, seriously, I'm like, is it seriously 9 o'clock?
Yes.
Like, where was I?
Everywhere. Everywhere and nowhere.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I have glimpses, like I remember a little bit. I remember I remember like snippets of what we talked about. Not not full hour and a half. Like,
Right. So, yes, time, when you're in the hypnagogic state, time and space do not exist. You are in um, your own reality, your own creation. And so 2 hours, 4 hours can go by and it'll feel just like a few seconds, like, oh, what just
mhm.
did we do this yet? Kind of thing. So,
Around the world and back in 60 seconds.
right.
You gotta
I
love it.
want
Gotta love it.
I want to thank everyone who contributed to the questions that I was able to ask the Pleiadian self and the higher self, all that information, just reading the comments and trying to ask as many as I could. I probably missed a few. There was one question there that was answered earlier in the session, and that was, do we determine our lifetime? Do we choose what we come to do? And that answer is yes. We always have a purpose in because we want to expand, we want to learn, and we come in to look at life from different perspectives. But we do choose that. We choose our soul family and what roles they'll play. Maybe even they're just a snippet of a relationship. You meet someone on the side of the road and you're like, what? You look familiar to me. I don't know where I know you from. And it's just a soul recognition. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to play a specific role. It was just that to remind you of who you are.
Hmm. I love
So
that. I love that. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
it
Amazing.
was fun. This is my passion. I love doing it. And those of you in listening in on this session, I do these all the time. I do Zoom sessions and I do in-person sessions. So if you're in Colorado, I love doing in-person sessions. I mean, look at this space I have. I have gongs in here. Not that I'll be playing them, but this is where I keep a lot of my sound bath instruments. But definitely love to use the singing bowls. Do you think they helped enhance opening up the
Oh,
top three chakras?
absolutely. Absolutely. When you hit those bowls, I could feel my chakras opening.
Good.
So yeah, absolutely. I think that if any music was playing, it would have been a distraction for me,
Right.
as far as getting into those relaxed states, because I would be focusing on the music and not going within. So I'm glad that we talked about that before that, um, because I think it was just perfect the way that everything played out, and it was just it was an amazing experience from what I can remember.
Like I said, I will send this audio to you, but you might also have the ability to tap into your replays. Now,
Hmm.
there's a question, blah blah asked, where am I at in Colorado? I'm in Colorado Springs, so I'm just south of you. Because I think I seen a comment from you earlier that you're in Denver, so I'm not that far. I'm just down the road in Colorado
Just down
Springs.
the road.
So, yep, I'm just a hike down the road. Just come and hang out with me
Blah blah.
sometime.
Colorado Springs. I miss Colorado
Yeah.
so much.
How do you
So
reach me in
so much.
Colorado? If you uh, you can go to my website actually, and it has my phone number on it, drebeling.com. So if you follow me here on TikTok, you go to my link in my bio. It'll take you right to my website. Takes you to my email. Even there's so many different ways you can reach out and find me. I would be
And
happy to connect with you.
that was going to be my other question too, is that do you have a website? Because I'm definitely
Mm-hmm.
interested in the bombs that you make with the lettuce, the wild lettuce,
Mm-hmm.
because I have raging arthritis, and I know that that would help so much.
Yeah.
So you do, is that on your website?
It is. So if you go to my website and look under the herbal salve tab, I might even have it in my link tree, the herbal salves. I'll take you right to my Etsy shop. But yes, I
Perfect.
have different strengths of it. I have the wild lettuce, which is just for muscle and joint, or not, yeah, muscle and joint pain. But the corydalis, the extra strength wild lettuce corydalis salve, covers the nerve, joint, and muscle pain. And it's just a topical salve that you rub on the pain. You can also take those, not the salve, but you can create a tea with the wild lettuce or the corydalis if you are able to obtain some. But they also, you can buy corydalis. My favorite provider of corydalis is, I think it's called Plum Dragon Herbs. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but that's my favorite space because they have pretty good prices on
Hmm.
the Chinese herbs. So
Well, I know where I'm going
corydalis.
when I get off of here.
Corydalis. But
So
you can
when we,
also, like I said, I create the salves to help with pain. And I recommend if you have like ragweed allergies, it's not necessarily a good thing to use that, but a good way of testing if you're going to be able to handle it is just rub some into your hands, and right after you'll feel your hands going numb pretty quickly. So don't touch your face. Wash your hands if you're going to be using your hands after that. But
and if you're a
if
man, don't go to the bathroom. Make sure you wash your hands.
I don't know, it might be anyway.
So
I'm not
listen,
going to
this
say
is
anything
how we
else.
could make this happen though. I just got an epiphany, that if we could get, I don't know, there's 62 people in here. If we could get 40 people to go book an appointment with you, that would give you the funds to get to Virginia Beach.
Right, right.
So
Yeah, my main source of income.
everybody that's in my live, go over there and book an appointment with her if you liked what you saw tonight, because we need her in Virginia Beach. Uh, you know
Yeah,
what I was thinking though, in all honesty, we may be able to zoom you in,
I had that
and
thought earlier as well.
we could do a Zoom collective past life regression with the Zoom. So we'll see what we can do with that. But
That sounds like an alternate plan, yes. But I
yeah.
was born in Virginia and I haven't been back since I was a month old, so I have no idea what it's like.
Oh
So
my
that's
God.
why I want to come so bad. But definitely, sessions with me, I know probably people wondered, well, how much does it cost? Typically, a past life regression session with just an average past life regression is about $350. Not with me, I only charge $160. But by doing several sessions, yes, that'll get me out to Virginia Beach to be able to do this for other people as well.
Yes. Yes, it absolutely will. And you're a lot like me too. I mean, I have one woman who's taking my classes now that paid $200 per course to get the Reiki level 1, level 2, and level 3. And they charged her additional for the attunements. It blew my mind. Where
Can I
I
tell you
charged
this?
$50. I'm like, what?
So I know practitioners here in town that charge $888 for the master
Yeah,
level.
yeah, it's
But
crazy.
888 is actually a good angel number for abundance, financial abundance. So,
Okay, so
you
charge
know,
$88.88, okay? You want your eights? I'll give you your eights, all right? Um, but yeah, that's why Reiki is a $1 billion industry, because there are people that do take advantage. I love you too, Jackie. Um, so this has been amazing. I can't thank you enough for this. And I can't wait to see the replay. I'm super excited. But right now, I'm literally going to go get some dinner.
right? I'm, I'm
It's
pretty
9 o'clock.
starving
I think
myself.
I know, I know. So thank you, and we'll be in touch. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Before you go, I wanted to
Yes.
point out the patterns that you're living.
Oh
You have
yes.
been a guide. You've been a guide. You've been, a teacher before, and this is exactly what you're in alignment with what you have come to do, and that is basically teaching others what you do and
One of the
raising a
things that
vibration.
that I remember, and it's just coming to me right now, is when you just mentioned that, it clicked in my head that, and I don't know what era it was in, but it was the era where um, my husband killed me. And when I came back, I chose to come back as a very powerful being, that I took my own power, that I would never allow that to ever happen again. And I remember that very vividly, of gaining my own power. And then I think there were a couple of lifetimes in there where I may have let that go, which is what brought me, like full circle, so to speak. But, even in the earth form, living here as a human, and this lifetime, there were trials and tribulations, and and heartache, and rough upbringing, because when I came here, I as with anyone, you don't remember why you came here. you
Right.
know you
That's what we
just
come to
come
do,
here.
is to remember.
Exactly.
Remember who you are, just like
Where
your
you are.
higher self would say. Yeah, remember
Yeah,
who you are. And then
remember
once
who
you
you
remember your patterns and what you're really passionate about is usually directly linked to what you've come to do. And is
are.
that to fulfill your passion and create a life living that passion. So
Yeah,
thanks for being the
absolutely.
teacher that you are and the energy healer that you are. Unless there's any other questions in the chat, I will let you go eat, and I'm going to
All
eat
right.
too.
All right. We'll talk to
For
you
those,
soon. Thank you.
have a
Love you.
great night, everyone. Love you all.
Good
Bye.
night.